7:13. I'm gonna put it.
Are you gonna say anything, or are you just gonna let it play?
Is it going?
It's going.
Well, I heard music, but I haven't. I always talk when the music stops.
We were in prayer and meditation. I don't hear the music going, so I have to trust you to do that part today.
Yep, and so here we are, and we're on. I never knew the music was 33 seconds. Anyhow, Drake Travis here. Yep, and we are on. Take a break with Drake. We have had camera issues. We're on the road here, but we're gonna. I think we're all straight now. We're gonna pull on our guest, Richard Pacania, from a retired U.S. Army policeman and a U.S. Army chaplain, and we were in college together. So let's pull in Richard Pacania right now. There we go. Hey, good morning.
Am I on now?
Yeah, we were on now. My
All
heavens,
right.
this has been a cat fight. And are we streaming live, dear?
Yes.
Okay. Finally,
We are live.
It's good. It's a good thing that I'm not, in charge of the air traffic control of the world or something like that. But anyhow, welcome, Richard Pacania. We were in college together. Richard, tell us where you are and what's going on these days, right now.
Right now, well, I'm actually having a cup of coffee in my living room in our house in Monterey, California, talking with you.
Oh my goodness, is Clint Eastwood still a mayor near there?
Not to my knowledge, but he is active.
He's active. He's there. He's a resident. He's a resident just south of you in Carmel, right?
Well, I that's what I hear, although he's never invited me to his house.
Oh, well, good grief. You'll have to just go up there and... But anyway, hey, a question. You got some of the best golf in the world in Monterey. Pebble Beach is there. Do you golf?
I've been golfing here exactly one time.
Oh, my...
I'm not a golfer.
Golf's not...
I may be a gopher, but I've never been a golfer.
Yeah, so you could caddy for someone.
That's a good deal. You get to see some of the neatest people, see some of the greatest greens, and it's usually a lovely day out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Monterey is gorgeous. We were there, just a couple of years ago, and we did the 17-mile drive. But anyhow,
That's
Richard,
gorgeous. Yes.
we met in college. We met at Simpson. Where did you meet the Lord?
Well, I was in the Army, single guy, and where I used to work, this fellow would come up to me. His name was Eugene. He'd come up and invite me to church. So one day I accepted that invitation, and I didn't realize that it was Easter Sunday, 1976, where Pastor Frank D. Combs preached the gospel and gave the invitation, and I went forward and trusted Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior. Easter Sunday, 1976.
Easter 1976. I was a freshman in high school. You stepped over the line and walked into the kingdom. Where were you?
In a small town called Kitzingen in Germany.
Kitzingen in Germany. People are still finding Christ in Germany.
That's right.
That's a good thing. So, you joined the Army when?
I joined the Army the previous year, May 1975.
Okay.
Out of Oakland, California.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So in the Army, you worked your way up. So you told me how many years you're in the Army.
35 years.
Total.
Yeah.
Now, well, you were in the Army, and then I met you at Simpson. You were still active Army or ROTC?
I was active Army Reserve. No, actually, I was actually active California Army National Guard.
Okay, during your Simpson years.
Yes.
Now, we were in San Francisco. I was there 82, 3, and 4. The calendar, January to December, I was a semester off from everybody else. What years were you at Simpson?
The spring of 81 through the spring of 84. So 3 years.
Spring of 81. Okay, you got there 1 year before me, and you graduated 1 year before me. Okay. Hey,
I thought you were class of 84.
No, I finished December 85.
Oh, okay.
but then went through the the ceremony, April '85. So I finished in
Okay.
December, went to Israel, and then came back and worked a few months, and then went through the ceremony spring '85. But
Okay.
so Richard. Oh, great! Another question. Well, during your Simpson years, which was spring '81 to spring '84, what was the biggest switch in you, change in you? What was the big exponential growth factor? What's the biggest thing you learned at Simpson?
The biggest thing I learned.
Yeah, or the most salient thing that really stuck with you.
Well, that's a different question than you asked me yesterday, but
Oh,
the biggest
it
thing I
is.
learned. The biggest thing I learned. The biggest thing I learned at Simpson.
Or what did I ask you yesterday?
What was the most important thing I learned?
There you go. Yeah, yeah. That's what I meant. Go
Oh,
ahead.
well, okay. Business. I learned business at Simpson, and I didn't realize how much it would follow me, and it followed me all the way, and used it consistently. And it's like a good Bible study method. You know, once you find how it works, how the system works, how the processes work,
Mm-hmm.
they work. You know, and it was a good thing.
That's
So yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
yeah.
I wasn't terribly aware of the business classes at Simpson when I was there.
Well, they were just starting the program,
Mm-hmm.
and it was in conjunction with Golden Gate University, downtown San Francisco, that we would take classes at Golden Gate University, and then Simpson would accept those credits and apply them towards your declared major, which for me
Oh,
was business administration. And when I learned that, well, Bible was requirement, either you major or minor in it, I just majored in Bible and business.
you majored in both.
Yes.
Boy, you're the dude. So you were in the
That's why I retired as a major.
okay. Wait, so, no,
Never mind, never mind.
yeah, well, you were in the Army how long, and then Simpson for 3 years, and then you back
Okay.
to the Army
No, I went to seminary.
seminary.
Yeah.
In where?
Dallas Theological Seminary.
Oh, you went to Dallas. My goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There were a group of us from Simpson that were just kind of, that was the place to go.
I remember Bobby went to Bobby Allen went to Dallas, I think.
Yeah, I heard. I never saw him there, but I heard that he had gone.
Yeah, man. My cousin Mike Mitchum was a graduate of Dallas,
Okay.
and he influenced Bobby to go there. And so I thought you and Bobby were there at the same time, but it was probably after.
Yeah. Well, we might have been. It's just that we never crossed paths there.
Boy, I didn't think it was that huge. So, well, your minister. So, break down the years. Army from 75 to 81.
No, 75 to 93, I was a military police officer,
For 18 of those years.
just about. And then from 94 until 2010, I was U.S. Army Chaplain.
Okay, those 16 years there.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, I remember my typing teacher, that's what they were called back then. Now it's a computer teacher. A typing teacher when I was in high school was a retired MP, military police officer, and he was on duty in Korea.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, you need military police officer? How can you need a police officer? Everybody's got a weapon. Everybody's disciplined. How do you need police? I don't. It seemed like a whole bunch of police officers in military wear. Why do they need a police officer? How does that work? I mean, that was a completely ignorant question because
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, there are two sides of that. One of them is the law and order mission. We all understand law and order on the civilian side.
Yeah.
And then there's the other side that's combat. It's an entirely different issue.
Military police in combat. That is a head scratcher to me. Well.
It was actually one of the funnest things I ever got to do, Drake.
Well, give me a story. I mean, how does it?
When you were growing up, did you ever watch the Rat Patrol?
No.
You never watched the Rat Patrol? Did you ever watch Combat?
In like
You didn't watch those guys?
in general or a show?
No,
called...
there were TV shows called the Rat Patrol, and there was one called Combat. when I was growing up, I watched two things. Well, three things. I watched cartoons. I watched all the westerns that I could watch,
Yeah.
and I watched all the combat shows.
Okay.
And not to mention, of course, football and baseball. But those were the things that I grew up on that stuff.
Uh-huh.
And so, Rat Patrol was these guys running around in the desert in North Africa chasing after Rommel.
Rommel, sure.
So they're riding around in what we call gun jeeps, and it's basically a jeep, just a plain old jeep with a machine gun mounted on the back end of it.
Okay.
We did that stuff.
Okay, you did that when you were MP, military police.
Right.
Okay. Wow. That's wild stuff. I'm in seminary at ATS, we had an Army chaplain who was the seminary chaplain, and he's retired
Right.
Army, and good singer too. Boy, I remember his when we graduated, he sang a special, a Sinatra special. Sit still here, Jet.
Okay.
But he sang, "I did it thy way."
Play on words.
I did it your way, Lord. I'm ready to hang it up now. And all my life, I did it your way instead of I did it my way. And that, that was rousing.
Oh, I can understand that.
Wow. But he was an Army chaplain. So you're chaplain for 16 years, military police for 18 years?
Yeah, give or take 6 and 13, almost 19 years.
19 years. Well, you're a reminds me of that book we had at Simpson called Bible in Hand, Gun in Pocket.
I didn't get that book.
It's about how, and Tom Ryder had it. You remember Tom Ryder?
Hey, I remember Tom. Have you had any contact with Tom at all?
We share some emails here and there. He's hard to find.
Really?
But
if you have his email, send it to me. Hey, I have to tell you the story since you brought him up. Tom was a very tender-hearted, gentle, charitable guy. There was a time in my life when I was homeless.
Really?
It was in between Simpson and seminary. I had no place, and Tom took me in, let me live with him for a while.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
got my feet on the ground.
I was his roommate, and he had an album that he would play that was so rousing. It was just great hymns, and it was like, oh my goodness, I don't even know the name of it. I can still hum the songs, but the guy did hymns. But Tom was a roommate, and he said when he was on duty, he was stationed in Italy, and he said Christmas in the Italian Alps is unreal.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh my, caroling in Italian sounds like Latin. Yeah, Coco back at the cabin around the fire. He told me this story, and I'm like, oh my word. Because the Christmas that he's telling me these stories, I was working UPS, so you get to leave Christmas Eve, but they want you back on December 26th. And so I drive 300 miles Christmas Eve for Christmas at my home. And then Christmas night, I have to drive back. I'm like, gee whiz, that was a drag.
Wow.
That was a drag. And Tom tells me about Christmas in Italy in the Italian Alps when he was stationed there. And yeah, what a great man. Yeah, he's married and whatever. So, but anyhow, so you retired 10 years ago?
10 years ago. January 2010.
And you now do you know Tagalog?
I know very little Tagalog.
Really?
Very, yes.
Okay, did your father know it well?
Actually, no. My father was not a Tagalog.
Oh.
There are different tribes in the Philippines, and a lot of people don't understand that. And a lot of different dialects. So not just Tagalog. My father was Ilocano. That was his tribe, and so he spoke Ilocano.
And he can't speak with a Tagalog speaker.
Or if you're speaking English, he'll speak English. That's just the way it is. We're not all fluent in everything.
That's funny. I know a Vietnamese girl. She was on this Vietnam mission I was on. She married, living in Southern California. She married a second-generation Japanese man. Okay. And they're both Christians, and they go to church together. But he can't speak Vietnamese, she can't speak Japanese. They speak English together.
Oh, I totally understand. Here's a good story for you, okay?
Yeah.
Right when I graduated from Dallas Seminary, I got hired by a Vietnamese church because
Where?
because in Dallas, Texas,
In Dallas.
because all their children were raised on English. They didn't know Vietnamese, and so in the services, they would have a separate Vietnamese service for all the native Vietnamese,
Yeah.
and then a separate English service for all the kids that were brought up in the U.S. that spoke only English.
Wow.
And that pastor, that guy was a hero, Drake.
Yeah.
At the end of the Vietnam War, he extracted as many orphans and families as he could, and then brought them all to the United States, and then sponsored them, and then built the church around. So all of them would be raised up in the Christian tradition. The guy was a hero. Drake.
That is good stuff. That is good stuff. Whoever led that Hmong, there's a Hmong church in Minnesota, and there's like 8,000 people that go to this Hmong church in Minnesota, and they are cranking it. I mean, they're into agriculture and business and marketing, and they're going for it. It's pretty cool. Oh, hello to Denise and Mikey. Jeff Dohaniuk. My goodness, Jeff. I'm good to see you. And Sally. Oh, wow. This is great. This is great. Others, hey, if you're coming on, say hello, and we'll say hello to you. But we have Richard Pacania here, a retired Army Chaplain and MP. And we were in college together. So anyhow, so you learned business at Simpson. That's fantastic. Well, your ministry these days, you've got stuff going on. You're not retired and in a hammock, I understand. You're having some effect. Tell us about that.
Well, I do a lot of volunteer work around here.
In Monterey.
But in Monterey.
Yeah.
But lately, for the last 4 years, we've been doing a lot of planning and preparing, and then finally positioning ourselves in the Philippines at a school that has requested some assistance. So the last 2 years I've been there. In February, I chose that time because it's actually cooler there. It gets up in the upper 80s, so that's manageable.
That's workable for you.
And then whatever they need for me to do there, I just go ahead and do that.
So help with the school. You
okay.
go and
well, it's called Well, let me back up a little bit.
that could be a lot of things. I mean, what do they need help?
Well, they were asking that I be a professor. That's one, and then to be a chaplain, and then in the future they're thinking of maybe starting a chaplain program there. So it's a pretty tall order. That's probably really well beyond me because I don't know how much time I can actually commit to that. So in the process of looking for the right niche, I offered to be their school chaplain, and then on as needed to teach a class or two or three, depending on that, but primarily as a chaplain, and then serve as a chaplain pastoral biblical counselor.
So what ages are people in this school?
Well, these are, at first I thought they were kids, but this is a graduate school.
Oh,
so
wow,
yeah.
Okay.
So this it's called the International Graduate School of Leadership in the Philippines. They're affiliated with Campus Crusade for Christ.
Okay.
Which now is abbreviated as CRU.
Yeah.
So they're highly evangelical and missions oriented. So the reason I think they asked, according to how it was explained to me, was that they have what's called a memorandum of agreement with the Philippine government and the service academies, the military.
Wow.
And what they do is they have a program. It's called Transformational Leadership, and they felt they needed somebody with my background to come in and help with that because they get these military guys and gals there, and I think they would like somebody that can pretty much see eye to eye, and know what the particular military needs are.
Wow.
And one of those is interacting and speaking the same language.
Sure.
You know, the military has its own culture and its own language
Sure.
within English. So what I bring to the table is something unique for them because I'll be the only guy with military experience in the ministry.
Isn't that something? So, I mean, they like you and pull you in because they know what they're getting, it sounds like. They're not like, gosh, we're going to figure out what this guy's made of. They know what you're made of. They know how you think. They know what your priorities are.
Well, the president of the school, his name is Tom Rojas.
Mm-hmm.
We were classmates together in seminary. So we knew of each other back in the early 80s.
Okay.
And he eventually became the president of this school. And so...
now, that's an American white guy.
No, he's a Filipino guy.
He's a Filipino. Name again?
Tom Rojas. Dr. Tom Rojas.
Rojas.
Xas. Roxas.
Wow. Okay, that's a new one
Rojas.
on me. That's a new one on me. Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Man.
So when I retired in 2010, and right after that, I had two messages. One from my former mentor, and he said, Richard, go to IGSL, which is International Graduate School of Leadership, and go help them. So I messaged back. I said, okay, but what is IGSL? Well, he died, so I never knew what that was until my friend Tom Rojas contacted me and said, come over and help us. And I thought, well, no, I'm retired. So I said no. So 6 years later, 2016, he sent the message again. So I asked God, well, what's going on here? That's 3 times they've requested assistance and help. So I'm going to go there and find out what's what.
Yeah.
So it took me 3 years to work up all the things necessary to go overseas. In other words, tie up all my loose ends here so that will free me to go there.
Okay.
Yeah, because I got a lot of different things going on. Anyway, so I went there in February 2019 and had a nice tour of the school.
Yeah.
And then they brought me to the Philippine National Police Academy, which is the Philippine equivalent to, let's say, maybe the FBI Academy. Okay.
Okay. Wow.
So they have 3 separate service programs there. One is National Police. The other is firefighting, and the other is prisonology. In other words, how to manage the prison system.
Yeah.
So all these infrastructure necessities to keep a country running. So I got to speak with the commandant of the school. I got to speak and address and pray for his entire tactical staff. And then I was invited to go speak at the Christian Fellowship Chapel of the Academy. So I got to do that, and it was a wonderful blessing. And then in the midst of all that, visit family and friends. And then I came back to the U.S. and shared the ministry with my wife. I said, you got to go next time. So the next time was this last February. January, February, went again. And this time I got to speak at the Philippine Military Academy, which is the equivalent to our West Point. And then...
Now, Richard, when you speak there, are they translating for you, or do they? Oh, we know English. Just go ahead and talk.
It's all English. The medium of instruction in the Philippines is English.
Wow.
Yeah.
Filipinos.
If you know the history of the Philippines, yeah.
Filipinos learn English.
Oh yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow.
Now, whether or not they use it is another story. You understand?
Yeah. Sure.
Like, do you remember taking Greek and Hebrew?
Oh yeah.
Do you still use it?
I do.
I'm impressed.
A lot of people don't, but I do. Yeah. I do it for
I dabble in the Greek, but very rarely do I get into the Hebrew.
Yeah. Well, I tinker at Sesame Street level, and I've been to Israel 3 times, and so I can read the road signs and
wonderful.
say the name of something, but people just cut loose and start talking. And
I know the feeling.
Yeah.
That's how it is when Filipinos talk Tagalog to me. I'm just going, what? And I say, English, please, English.
Oh.
Anyway, so the medium of instruction is English. So there's no issue there.
So you're invited to the high end level of Philippine culture there. That's really impressive. That's really impressive. Hey, I was going to ask you, Richard.
I didn't hear anything you just said. Oh, sure. Good.
You didn't hear, or what do you mean?
I didn't hear the last few sentences you were saying, but go ahead.
I said you're invited to a very high-end level of Philippine culture, and that's impressive.
Well,
Is my
I was just, I was actually, I was really surprised because when I realized upon my calling to be a chaplain, I also had a calling to be a missionary to the Philippines.
Mhm.
And so that's always been on the back of my mind on what God had for me to do there. I always thought I was going to be some missionary out on the field somewhere working in these small churches.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what I thought I was going to be doing. I had no idea I'd be walking the halls and being in the classrooms of upper academia as a missionary. It never crossed my mind that I was going to be doing
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, the surprises that we all encountered in life are bewildering. Hey, what is your dream? If you're living your dream 5 years from now, paint the picture as best as you can.
Well, I'd like to be a little bit more effective and have a longer term doing what they're asking me to do there, a minimum 3 months. And so if I get to do what they're asking me to do,
Uh-huh.
that would be it for the time being. If should I live that long? Because in 5 years I'll be pushing 70.
Oh, Richard, you're looking fantastic.
Well, thanks.
You're
Great.
gonna be alive for another 25 years. The Lord tarries, or
Hope so.
whatever,
Hope
whatever the eschatology is. So if you're in the Philippines 3 months, instructing and everything, where do you stay when you're there? Instructing at
I stay on campus. They have on-campus housing for faculty as well as students.
Okay. If you're on campus working 3 months at a time, back in Monterey or stateside,
Yes.
How long till you get the itch and you just got to go back?
Well, it's not just the itch. Everything has to be in line. I have to, of course, be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
The business ends that I'll be having to leave here, which should be all tied off.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's the financing. They're expecting that you have to raise your own support. It's like with Campus Crusade, that's their deal. You raise your own support.
Yeah.
So that has a lot to do with it, and that's something I've never done before. I've never had to raise support. It's when I was in college and seminary, I would just send out update newsletters, and then whoever would send money, they would send money, but it was never a fundraiser type of thing. So that's going to be a new experience for me, having to do that.
Yeah. Now, if somebody wanted to help you along here, they could find you on Facebook and go from there?
They could, but we have not initiated any fundraising right now.
Okay.
Because right now it's manageable, but
yeah. Well,
eventually
I'm leaving the open here, and if somebody watches this and wants to help you go do ministry in Philippines, they could find you on Facebook and go from there.
They could, but we're not in that mode yet. We have not initiated any kind of fundraising yet.
Yeah,
because I want to be clear what my position is and purpose is. So when I do ask for support, I could state that without a doubt.
Yeah.
What it is I'll be doing there, and so they know exactly what they're going to be supporting.
Yeah.
The cause.
Yeah.
What the cause is, and as of yesterday, when I shared with you, Drake, the cause is we need workers, we need missionaries, we need pastors, we need teachers, we need people to, this is. I am at the phase in my life where I recognize we have to pass the baton now.
Yeah.
And we need new people.
Yeah. New
ideas, new energy, new educated, because the culture here in the United States has changed drastically. It's a different culture, Drake.
Oh, brother. Yeah.
And we have to understand it in order to reach out to it.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was growing up, you had some kids that, used to go to church, and you could say something, that's back when, but now you talk gospel stuff, and the young kids today, they don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't even know what realm you're in. It's like, wow, the paganization efforts have been spooky effective. So anyhow, boy, hey, next time you go to Philippines, can we before or right after, can we pull you back on, give us an update?
I could do that. The next projected time is December 2021. that's the next time we plan on going.
17 months away from now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because February is too soon. This COVID thing has thrown a wrench into everybody's works.
yeah.
So, and this latest thing just came up, and now the Philippines is only allowing people with Philippine passports to enter the country, and I don't have that.
Oh,
So they may change the policy by then, but
oh my.
right now that's what it is.
Oh my. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they closed the borders.
Yeah, shoot. Well, hey, until next time, Richard. The time is just has expired, and we'll get an update from you when we can. So, folks, Army Chaplain and Army MP, Simpson grad, Dallas grad, Richard Pacania. Good having you on, brother. And until next time, you be well.
Thanks, Rick.
And for all of you folks out there, the Lord is with you.
God bless.
Yes, He is with you. So go in peace and amen.
Peace. Amen.